Well, it's just 2 weeks until the Kentucky Derby, Dan, and today we're going to see the big favorite for the big race, Easy Goer, in his final tune-up, the Wood Memorial. Actually, it's a story that began in the darkness before dawn this morning. New York was moonstruck at 5 o'clock this morning, crystal clear and cold. It was a perfect morning for a horse with a mission today, Easy Goer, to open his eyes and get going. Just after sunrise, he was taken to the track. Easy Goer, the favorite for the Kentucky Derby, loosening up with his morning gallop for today's running of the Wood. He goes easy and he eats big. Anything you give him except apples, they say, he doesn't like those. And now here he is in the flesh, Easy Goer, minutes before the race that's his final stepping stone to the Derby. You'll see it live on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport. And they're off.
He's going to run the first 4-minute mile.
I'm always confident I whip all of them.
The thrill of victory.
Lele has scored in his last half for the Cosmos. The biggest upset in the history of Little League.
And the agony of defeat.
Look at him go! Oh, baby. Yarborough right out of the racetrack.
The human drama of athletic competition.
World record number 72. Winners trying to put him away. Down the stretch they come. It's a driving finish. Winning colors by a head.
In our 29th year, this is ABC's Wide World of Sports. The Empire State Building, New York's most recognizable landmark. In the foreground, the borough of Queens, behind the skyline of Manhattan. It's springtime when the geese are flying north. The Concorde flies in every day, flying west from London to nearby Kennedy Airport. This afternoon, the fans have come by subway car and by automobile. An estimated 21,000 for the Wood Memorial, particularly, however, to see one animal, to see this horse, Easy Goer. Is this the horse of the decade? Well, he most certainly is the horse of the hour. Early in his 3-year-old career already, they're comparing him to a name that is still spoken in awe, Secretariat. He lives the quiet life of Claiborne Farm in Kentucky these days. Secretariat, a national hero at 3, a national treasure at 19. Sire of Risen Star, winner of last year's Preakness in Belmont. Secretariat. This is he, winning the Gotham Stakes in stakes record time that launched him on one of racing's greatest careers. Some call him the greatest ever. But now comes Easy Goer, a son of Alydar, who finished second in all 3 Triple Crown races behind a firm. 2 weeks ago, Easy Goer not only broke Secretariat's stakes record in the Gotham, he shattered it, running the mile a full second faster than Secretariat. His trainer was shocked by the time.
I looked down before I went over there, and I saw that Secretariat's stakes record was 33-1, and I thought that all things being equal, that he could maybe be close to that. If he ran his race, the track looked like it was in good condition. He'd trained so well up to it. But no, I never dreamed that he would, you know, crush the track record and, you know, Secretariat's stakes record.
Lucian Lauren trained Secretariat. Does he think Easy Goer is worthy of being compared to his great champion?
My God, I didn't think it was a horse living could run any faster than Secretariat. And he broke the track record, fell by 1/5 of a second, by a full second. So you know he can really run.
High praise indeed for the trainer of Secretariat. Well, here's where we are in the borough of Queens, New York, for the Wood Memorial Invitational at the Aqueduct Racetrack. Let's take a look right now at the specifics of this occasion. The purse, $500,000 today. They call that a tune-up for the Kentucky Derby. Well, it is in a sense. The distance, 1.1 miles, an eighth of a mile shorter than the Derby itself, a fast track. They say the temperature is 53 degrees. It feels a lot colder. You can see that wind whipping the flag at some 20 miles per hour, higher in gusts. And as I said, the estimated attendance is 21,000 people. Well, good afternoon. I'm Jim McKay reporting this time from Aqueduct. 2 weeks ago, we had the heat of Southern California. Last week, the rain of Kentucky. Today, the chill wind of Aqueduct, which is kind of a tradition for the Wood Memorial. But let's get right into this story because it's not too long until post time. Let's take a look at the odds right now, and an interesting set of odds they are. You don't see it too often. Second favorite in the betting is Triple Buck at 8-1. Militron at 37-1, but here's the reason for the other high odds. Easy Goer, the favorite, at 1-9. He'll pay $2.10 if he wins the race today. 3 other horses, Diamond Donnie at 11-1, AM Swinger at 9-1, and Rock Point at 13-1. Time to bring in now our expert on the sport, a pioneer among women on the racetrack, as a matter of fact, Charles E. Canty. Charles, a lot of the experts around here are saying, well, you know, he's still got to prove that he can win going around 2 turns, the old expression.
Well, Jim, some reservation is understandable. As brilliant as Easy Goer has been at a mile or less, the fact remains that he's got to prove he can win going around 2 turns, which is a rite of passage of sort for these young thoroughbreds and can be a critical stumbling point for any horse who's lacking a little in endurance. They've got to be able to go the distance. As great as he is, if Carl Lewis were a thoroughbred, we wouldn't bother to nominate him for the Triple Crown.
Couldn't go the distance.
But personally, I feel like Easy Goer can win going around 3 turns, but the fact remains he was beaten in his only attempt going around 2 turns last fall in the Breeders' Cup at Churchill Downs. But he had trouble in the race, and he was only a 2-year-old. The important thing is he closed ground resolutely through the stretch, and that's what we need to see.
Okay, right now, maybe we can take a look at the odds board. There's an interesting situation there. This is the amount of money bet on each horse. You can see that Triple Buck for show down at the bottom of the board has $4,600. Look at Easy Goer, $736,000 and more for show. You know, there's Shug McGaughey, his trainer. We'll be right back. Fortunately for Easy Goer, the horse, he doesn't know the kind of pressure he is under out there today, but his jockey Pat Day certainly does. Dave Johnson, who will be calling the race for us this afternoon, talked to Pat Day a little bit earlier.
Talking with Pat Day, the rider of Easy Goer. Pat, if you were talking to somebody who knew nothing about horse racing, how would you explain this horse to him and your role as its partner?
Well, Dave, most people are knowledgeable about automobiles, and I would compare this horse as far as his class with a Rolls-Royce, and as far as his speed and handling with a Corvette as opposed to a Chevrolet or a Volkswagen.
He's that good?
He's the epitome of horseflesh, in my opinion. I've never been blessed with I've ridden some awfully nice horses, but I've never sat on anything quite like him.
Now, is your goal never to ask him for everything he's got?
I would like to see him go through his career with that, with never getting right down to the bottom with a question mark in everybody's mind as to just what he could possibly do.
What about the question of the day and 2 turns?
I really don't foresee that as any problem, Dave. This colt, everybody's judging him because of his race in the Breeders' Cup, and he had some plausible excuses for his performance, and it still wasn't that bad of a performance. But his race here last week and the way that he galloped out and the way that he's doing everything, I don't believe that 2 turns will be any problem whatsoever.
Let us not forget that there are 5 other horses in the race. One is Diamond Donnie. Diamond Donnie, who will be wearing number 4 today. There he is. Come up from Maryland, up the Turnpike, I-95.
One thing about Diamond Donnie, Jim, he's never been boring. He flashed a lot of brilliant speed in his career down mostly around in Laurel and showed a lot of speed. Then he began to bear out in some of his races, promising to do something dramatic one day, and finally he did. There on the left of your screen, watch this. He just bolts. He just makes right for the outside fence. Petrified jock jumps off. Diamond Donnie goes over the fence, and as awful a sight as this is, fortunately there were only a few superficial scrapes. He came right back and was in the Gotham and set the fractions and wound up second.
Well, let's have a look at the horse that won the Federico Tezio Stakes in Maryland, Rock Point.
Well, this is a colt who's a real study in patience and perseverance. He couldn't raise a gallop as a 2-year-old. He looked like he was just going to be hopeless. But Sidney Waters got him turned around, his trainer, and he wound up really improving this winter. Wound up 3rd in the World Away, won the Frederick Tessio, and should be pretty important in the race for 2nd today.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the 2nd choice in the betting, if we can. Number 1, Triple Buck, trained by Butch Lenzini.
Butch Lenzini, who has already won the Wood Memorial once. This colt had a very rough trip in the Jim Beam. Both of his wins are right here at Aqueduct, which is probably why he's getting so much attention. But, Jim, they were around 1 turn.
The nation's leading jockey, Jose Santos, is up. We'll be back for the race. Another look at Easy Goer in the familiar silks of the Phipps family, owned by Ogden Phipps, the black with the cherry cap, one of the oldest silks around these days. Here are the odds. A final look at the odds. Triple Buck at 10-1, Militron at 45-1. Easy Goer is still at 1-9. Diamond Donnie at 12-1. A.M. Swinger with some support. Now he's the 2nd choice at 9-1, and Rock Point at 14-1. And there they are, and here is Ogden Phipps, 80 years old. He's won about everything on the American turf except the Kentucky Derby. He's never won that one. Might this be the year?
Easy Goer's grandsire was a big disappointment for him, Buckpasser. That was his greatest chance at the Kentucky Derby, and he was injured before it and wasn't able to run. So lots to make up for this year.
There you see the stakes and the track record. That track record by Reva Ridge. You remember him. 1973.
Jim, we might point out that this is the first time all of these colts will be carrying 126 pounds. That's the classic weight that they will carry if they do run in the Derby. It's a big jump up in weights for some of these colts.
Triple Buck is in there with Jose Santos, was the leading jockey in the country last year. Clipped Award winner. There's Pat Day. And let's go up to Dave Johnson.
And as Easy Goer moves into line, I think you can forget about a track record or a stakes record. This track is dull and slow. If they go the half mile in under 47 seconds, they will be going fast. And if the three-quarter time is 1:11, it's going to be sizzling. Rock Point, a steadily improving 3-year-old, is the last one to move into line. We're ready for the start. Once around the Aqueduct Oval, 1 mile and an eighth. And they're off. And from between horses, Diamond Donnie with Vince Pacelli takes command quickly, going away by 1.5 lengths. And Easy Goer is in second. There goes Triple Buck now claiming the rail. On the outside, AM Swinger is fourth. Then at the inside, the roan colt Militron, and between horses, Rock Point. About 6 lengths separate the entire field. Around the turn, racing to the backstretch. Diamond Donnie has the lead by 1 3/4 lengths. Easy Goer on the outside, right there, second by 3/4 of a length. Triple Buck at the rail is third, saving ground. And on the outside, there's Rock Point in fourth. Then 2 back, and the roan colts bring up the rear. Militron, and at the back of the pack, AM Swinger. The first quarter in 24-1 as they race down the backstretch, and it's still Diamond Donnie, the speed horse at the rail, leading it by a head, and on the outside, Easy Goer with Pat Day easing up alongside to challenge. Now those two are heads apart. The half in 48-3. It's not fast, but it's a very slow track. And now Easy Goer on the outside challenges Diamond Donnie at the rail. Diamond Donnie lets out a notch, and Easy Goer is about a half length off the lead. In the middle of the track, here comes Rock Point gaining ground with Bill Fox at the rail. Triple Buck is fourth. Then it's 4.5 lengths farther back to AM Swinger and Militron. Easy Goer takes command. 3/4 in 1:13 2/5 as the field straightens away in the stretch. Easy Goer has the lead, but here comes the improving Rock Point on the outside, and down the stretch they come. Easy Goer has the lead by 1. Rock Point on the outside, second at the rail. It's Triple Buck coming into the final 16th of a mile. Easy Goer has the lead, draws off by 2. Rock Point second, Triple Buck third. The Wood Memorial goes to Easy Goer with Pat Day aboard, winning it by about 3.5 lengths. It's a photo between Rock Point and Triple Buck for the place and show spots. Not the margin of victory in the Gotham Mile, but a convincing victory here this afternoon on a dull strip. Answering a lot of questions. Yes, he can go around 2 turns. Yes, he possibly should be considered with the word greatness, and he is the odds-on choice for the Run for the Roses 2 weeks from today.
No question about that, Dave. Easy Goer, a son of Alidar, out of the mare Relaxing, who was by Buckpasser. The photo is only for second place, but of course the entire result is unofficial at this point. Very much a photo for second. I couldn't tell, could you, Charlie?
No,
Charlie?
really, I was watching closely to watch Pat Day. We just saw a classic game of cat and mouse. Pat Day, knowing every inch of the horse he had, was just sitting on Easy Goer all the way around the turn. And at the head of the stretch, Vince Pacelli went for his stick. Pat Day was still sitting there wrapped up. He's looking over his shoulder, watching. He's saving his horse. They didn't want a hard race on this colt today. Surely the skeptics will jump up and say he didn't run fast enough. He didn't win by far enough. But what he had was a good workout. The Derby is only 14 days away. You wouldn't want much more.
No question about it.
Watch.
So let's take a look at this now, Charlie. Here they
Now
come
there
into
you
the
see
stretch.
Diamond Donnie on the rail. Now see, Vince Pacelli is already after him. He's getting into him with the whip, and Pat Day is still sitting there. Now he's watching. He's just watching to measuring what other horses have under them. He knows what he's got. And as they turn for home, here comes Rock Point up on the outside. And you'll see Pat Day kind of look back just to see how fast Rock Point is coming. He's really kind of playing cat and mouse with this horse. He hasn't really asked him to run. He never moves on him. He's not scrubbing on him. He's just letting him gallop out. This is just a public work here. See, he looks back to check on Rock Point's progress. He knows he doesn't really. He hustles a little bit, picks him up here. He finishes up his last 3/8 in 36-3. Pretty creditable time over this racetrack.
Not bad at all. Easy Goer on his way to the Kentucky Derby. One small caution we might make, Charles, and that is that 8 horses have won the Gotham and then the Wood none of them have gone on to win the Kentucky Derby.
That's a chilling statistic. I don't think Shug McGaughey wants to know about that.
Pat Day, can you hear me out there on the track?
Yeah, I sure can, Jim.
What's your comment on the race?
Well, he just run up to his up to expectations. He run a very big race, Jim. He had to fight some elements out here today. This track's a little bit loose and getting away from him. And there was a pretty good headwind up the backside, which probably contributed to a little bit slower time than what we was looking for. But he done it very much within himself, and I'm real pleased with his race.
Did you have to get after him at all?
No, I asked him to run the last eighth of a mile to make sure we got something out of it, and that was about it, Jim.
Congratulations, Pat.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Pat Day and Easy Goer. The Wood Memorial is in his pocket. Here are the unofficial results. Unofficial. We'll be back with the official. Easy Goer, Rock Point, and Triple Buck. We will be back again for the official
with
results.
The Wood Memorial Invitational.
It is official. Easy Go, the winner, paying $220, $220, and $210. Rock Point, $360 and $210. Triple Buck was third, paying $210. The Exacta, 3 and 6, paid $8.20. They don't get much lower than that at the time. $150 and 3/5 on this kind of dull track. There is the final order of finish: Easy Goer, Rock Point, Triple Buck, Militron, Diamond Donnie, and A.M. Swinger. I'm standing now with Shug McGaughey, the trainer of Easy Goer, and Pat Day, the rider. And there he goes, I do believe. And we're going to take a look at the isolated replay of this race. Here we are, gentlemen. We're going to take a look at the isolated replay on Easy Goer, and both of you may comment as you wish. Here they are about to come out.
Well, this horse just broke really nice today, nice and clean and sharp, and he done everything right. He's a professional in every aspect, you know. And right here, I wanted to stay back off of Diamond Donnie until I seen what he was going to do, and it sure looked like Jimbo had him under control. And so when we turned up the backside, he wanted to go on up there and challenge him a little bit, and I was happy to let him do that. And we bumped just a little bit over the half-mile pole when we first went in the turn over there. But other than that, it was a clean trip, and this horse put him away, leaving the 5/16 pole. And when we turned into the stretch, I waited till the horse had finished second. I looked over my shoulder and seen him coming. I picked him up and asked him just a little bit, and he come right on with it.
So, Shug, it was not anything pre-planned to definitely stay closer to the pace?
No, Jim, but, you know, people have been asking me all along, you know, well, he gets too far back. And I said, well, he's getting too far back behind 44 half miles, you know. And I said, I don't know what's going to happen in the wood. The Diamond Donnie horse was the horse that set the 44 in the Gotham. But I said, when we get to the Derby, you know, they're not going to go the first half mile in 44. So I was, you know, I was pleased to see him up there to where, you know, it looked like that we can be in position to dominate the races if we have to.
Pat, there was a strong wind in their face on the backstretch. Did that bother the horse or you?
Well, I think it definitely took its toll in the final time, Jim. That and the track is real cuppy. With this wind blowing today, it's just sucking the moisture out of it, and it's real loose and cuppy, and certainly isn't the racetrack that we run over on the Gotham here, but just the same, you know, this horse run big. He didn't seem to really like it, but he came through it just the same.
Now, right here, did you have to push him a little bit? Did you have to urge him?
Just a little bit, but you can see his ears keep coming up. I mean, he's looking for the competition, and just finished plumb full of run.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you. Shug McGaughey, the trainer, Pat Day, the jockey of Easy Goer. 1 week from today, we'll be at Churchill Downs in Kentucky for the Derby trial. Houston will be there, the mystery host of the moment. Let's go to Dan Deerdorf in boxing.